Hello. Okay, so this is my first time ever screen recording, so bear with me. This is to help you understand how to create a new catalog with the idea of creating the smart previews so that you can send it to me before uploading all of the raw images to Dropbox. So I'm going to show you how to do that and just kind of walk you through it step by step. Yeah. So first you would connect your hard drive. So mine's right here. The reason that you want to do this first is because everything you create in Lightroom, you want to do it off of your hard drive. You don't want to create it on your desktop. You don't want to create it off of your SD cards. Just everything needs to be on your hard drive. So you'd open that up. I created this folder right here for today to show you. So let's pretend that this is the last shoot you did, the last wedding you did, whatever. You would create that, and import all of your photos into this folder like you normally would. So let's say that you did that. So all of your raw photos are right here. So with that being said, I'm going to open up Lightroom. Doo-da-dee. And it's going to pull up my last catalog. So it'll probably do the same for you. So if you're doing a brand new catalog for me, then you're going to go to File, New Catalog, and you would be saving it on your hard drive. So we will do Test Catalog here. So you would create it in the folder with the raw images from that shoot. So it's going to make a brand new catalog within your folder on your hard drive. Again, you want everything to be on your hard drive. So it's opening that up, and the first thing that you have to do is import all of the photos. So since you guys aren't using Photo Mechanic, you're going to be doing all of your culling inside of Lightroom. So that's kind of what I'm going to show you, even though I don't use that. So you'd open up a brand new catalog right here and you would go to import. You can't really, you can filter through your images here on this screen, but I would recommend importing all of them into Lightroom and then exporting the culled images. From my experience in culling in Lightroom, it's a lot easier and faster if you do it once everything's imported rather than trying to do it on this screen here. So that's what I'm going to show you. So we'd go over to the hard drive here, and we would go to, here we go, I forgot what we were doing. We'd go to whatever folder you were currently using. So I have my example folder here. I would go to my raw images, and those will all be pulled up here. So I just pulled a random 48 photos here. You're obviously going to have a lot more because of weddings. So importing is going to take you longer than it's going to take me right now. But anyway, say this is, your wedding or your shoot. All of these photos will come up and will all already be checked. If they're not, then you would just go to uncheck all, check all. You want to make sure that they're in capture time because then they can import in capture time. Another note is that you want to make sure add is on right up here. As you can see, it kind of tells you underneath what these different settings do, I guess. So if you're copying it, it copies and to the new location. If you're moving it, it moves the photos. We don't want to do that. We want to add photos to the catalog without moving them. So again, this is all done on your on your hard drive. So my 2020 hard drive, which you can see up here. So this is also where you would want to check to make sure you're doing this off of your hard drive again and not off of SD cards. So all of the raw photos are checked. You want to make sure you're on new photos. So if you've already imported some for whatever reason, make sure you're on new photos so you don't get duplicates. And right over here is where it is very important to make sure you click Build Smart Previews. So that is where it's going to bring in the raw file, but it's also going to bring in a smart preview file, which means it's a really small file as far as like the technical side of each image goes, but I can still edit it. So this is what helps us to edit without having the raw photos all on Dropbox. You want to make sure that this is on standard, and I don't change anything else over here. So build smart previews, standard, and make sure it's on add. So then you would go ahead and import these photos. Up here you can see that the raw images are importing here, and then the smart previews are the second bar down here. So that's another good way to see, okay, both are getting imported in both formats, I guess. So we'll let that get imported. And again, this is going to take you a lot longer when you're importing weddings. So like right now, if I was importing a wedding, I would plug in my computer to make sure it was charging, and I would go do something else and come back to once everything's imported. So yeah, you can see up here it's doing the smart previews. And then if you look over here in your histogram, this will also show you that you have the original photo and the smart preview photo. So again, that means that you can edit these photos without having the originals off of the hard drive or SD card or wherever they are. Okay, so all of our raw images and smart previews are now imported. So again, you're going to have a way higher number down here. In your training folder on Google Drive, I have a Word document all about culling, and I talk through how to do that, what numbers to try to target things towards, and really everything else that goes in with culling. So I'm not going to talk about that right now, but I will briefly mention something that is on that document, which is how to cull in Lightroom. So we are in the library still, which means this is where we can kind of filter and categorize things, and then all the editing takes place in Develop. So make sure you're in the library and you can see all your photos this way. I talked through on the culling Word doc how you can cull based off of flagging something, which you can see down here, or rating it based off of star rating, so 1 through 5, or you can do color labels. So down here is kind of where you see how to filter out images once they have the either flag, star, or color label on them. I personally like doing flags. You'll see a star on here because of photo mechanics, so try to just ignore that. But okay, so these are all of your raw images. You can click through them really fast, which is another reason I recommend importing all of your images, because that's kind of where things get tricky if you try to cull them before importing them. So again, I would import all of them and then cull. So let's say that I say, okay, I want this image. I pick it. So that's why you saw flag is picked. And then I want this one, and this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. She was stunning. And that one, whatever. I'm not really trying to cull right now, but let's say that that was that. So then you would go to however you decided to filter them. So I did flagged. So I click on flagged, and it's going to show me just the photos that I flagged. So from here, this is where our editor kind of takes over. So once you have all of your images culled, you would filter them so it just shows the ones that you culled, and you would go and select all of them. So that is Command A to select all of them. From here, you would go to File, Export as Catalog. So this is another very important step. The only way that we can edit photos without having the RAWs is by having the Smart Preview. So when you export this catalog, you need to make sure this is clicked right here. So build and include Smart Previews. This is really important. So you would go back to your hard drive and you would go into the folder where you're working out of. So for me, this is my catalog creation example, where my raw images are, where I built this original catalog with all the raw photos. And now I'm going to export the Smart Preview catalog to send to our admin, which is me. So, sorry, hiccup. So we would save this as, let's do couples name underscore Smart Catalog. Again, you want to make sure this is checked, and then you would tell Lightroom to export the catalog. So this is exporting it just as the Smart Previews so that you can quickly send this, and again, this is a really small file. So if you look up here, it's building the catalog and it's done. Again, this is a lot faster than it's going to be for you because of the small number of photos I'm doing. So that exported, so you would get out of Lightroom and you would go on to WeTransfer, and that is just WeTransfer.com. It is free if everything is under 2 gigabytes, and because of Smart Preview catalogs being so small, this works great for us. So you would select your folder. So again, you would go back to the catalog that you're working out of that is on your hard drive, and you'd want to make sure you're sending the Smart Preview catalog. So it would be right in here, and you would do upload here, and you would email this to us, and let's just say it's from here, and we would do Cassidy and Grant, let's say March 15th, 2020. So you've got the Smart Preview catalog in here, and fill in this information, and then you hit transfer. Okay, well, that's fortunate. Small delay. Well, I guess this is good because it might have you do a verification code. So here is mine. Five, 3, 5, 8, 1, 8. Why is that not working? 5, 3, 5, 8, 1, 8. There we go. Sorry, guys. Okay, so the upload speed is, I would say it's pretty fast because of how small everything is. Again, mine looks really fast because I'm only sending 15 photos on a Smart Preview catalog. But yeah, so once this upload is complete, it will send it over to me. And from there, that gives me the power to start editing the gallery to where I can send it off to our official editor. And then your next step is just to upload the raw images to Dropbox. Again, the reason you have to do both is because when when the Smart Preview catalog is getting edited by our editing company, they'll send that back and everything will still be a Smart Preview. But once I plug in or download or whatever the folder that has the original raw photos, that will kind of link back up with Lightroom so that when we export all of our final edits, they are exporting like the full raw image with the edits on it. So that's really important that we still get everything up on Dropbox as soon as possible. But this gives us, at least a week or two to get the edits done, which gives you guys a week or two to get your raw images on Dropbox. So yeah, I hope that that was helpful. Please watch this again and let me know if you have any questions. And I think there's going to be a ScreenFlick logo on here because I didn't buy it, because this is probably the only time I'm going to make one of these. Thank you for listening, and let me know if you have any problems.